Ladies and gentlemen, this is an amazing day. I'm here in Hakone, right?
That's right.
Hakone Touge in Japan, Fuji in the background, joined with Albo.
What's up, guys? I've taken the Hoonigans over here to the best driving roads in Japan, so enjoy the ride.
Best driving roads. Touge, just to break it down, is essentially just mountain driving.
Well, the word Touge means mountain pass. If you break down the
Mountain
two
pass.
kanjis, which incorporates mountain and up and down, that forms the kanji for the word Touge.
Yeah, if you didn't know, Albo actually taught English in Japan, so he's really
Long
good with
time
the
ago.
words. I know Touge from Initial D. I know Touge from high school, going to the local mountains in Southern California. I didn't know if it was actually Touge. All I know is I wanted to go drive in the mountains.
First of all, the way you pronounce it is Touge.
Touge.
And this area we're at here in Hakone is where initially the 5th stage takes place. Very technical, some fast-paced sections.
Yeah.
It's really gonna push you as a driver. Specifically with the type of Touge I like to run, which is kind of tight and technical, I want a car that's lightweight, rear-wheel drive, 2-door. It'd be great if it's convertible. And so that kind of narrows it down to just a few options. This is the AP1 Honda S2000. It's bright yellow, it's got a bunch of spoon parts on it. This is powered by an F20C that revs up to just about 9,000 RPM, makes about 250 horsepower here in Japan.
This is what I'm talking about when I say tasteful and tamed. The internals on the engine are stock. Is everything stock?
So we have a shiny yellow spoon valve cover, the spoon snorkel.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much horsepower that adds.
It's at least 100.
At least 100.
So we're 150 higher.
The stock air box, which I've wrapped in gold foil.
Gold tape.
And that actually does help with the cooling a couple degrees. So for me, the priority was not more power. Actually, it was to keep the engine running a long time and to keep it cool. So that's why we have an aluminum radiator along with a vented hood and just getting more air into this engine, because out of the box, the F20C is already almost optimized.
This is one of the cool things about Japanese engineering, is that they'll take a 4-cylinder and they'll make it make way more horsepower than it's supposed to, and they'll rev it to the freaking moon. So with 9,000 RPM right out of the box, it's an upgraded transmission. This should be a really good Touge car.
Yeah, you're right. We didn't talk about it yet, but this is actually running an AP2 transmission. So I've sourced an AP2 transmission, put it in here, and completely transformed the car.
Explain to me really fast what an AP2 is.
So AP2 is the facelifted model of the S2000. It's like the second half of like the production, but it actually makes slightly less power than this AP1 does.
See what I mean? Is they took the smaller motor and it makes more power, and the big motor makes less power. I don't understand. Whatever. It sounds like you have the perfect combo. Higher horsepower motor and tighter gearing. Speaking from a power perspective, you know, obviously coming from America, we're running high horsepower. That's a really big thing that we're chase. I cannot get away from how important the gearing is of the car, especially when it comes to the mountain roads. You have the combination between the gearing, the proper gearing that's tight, but you also have the broad range of speed in that gear because of the engine's RPM capabilities. I run a big American LS in my car, but the big problem that we run into is the RPM range. And so then when we're running something like a 4-speed gearbox, a dog box, there's only so much we can do. So in order to find the proper gear for a specific track, the window just gets smaller and smaller. I can't get over that there's gutters on the outside of this.
Yeah.
Because all I'm thinking is Initial D. It's like, do the gutter run, do the gutter run.
For me, it feels more like Rainbow Road in Mario Kart, where you gotta stay on. You can't fall off either side.
Yeah, there she goes.
And the shifting just feels so good.
Yeah, you can really feel the motor get into the VTEC when it does come on.
There's a few stretches where it opens up, so you can really push it, get high in that VTEC range, over 7,000 RPM, and it just feels amazing.
Yes. So when I saw your car for the first time down in Tokyo, the very first thing that stood out to me was the yellow and all the carbon fiber.
This is a Jace Racing GT wing, and it's also mated with the OEM ducktail.
Doubling up.
Doubling it up.
Cool, a little bit more car control. So it's more methodical than just like slap a wing on something. Can you also feel the difference in the front end with the splitter?
Yeah, especially because it goes all the way inside. And you
Oh.
can see my wing is not super huge, so I don't have a huge splitter. So it's all about balance.
Everything seems to be a little bit more tasteful, if you will.
Yeah, it's about keeping the original philosophy of the car as much as possible while making it safer and more fun to drive.
Yeah, the first thing I'm noticing, dude, is the rigidity of the chassis. It is very well planted. I can't get over how go-karty this thing feels.
Is the asphalt doing that? The asphalt is time for a song? That's okay. I thought I was bugging out. The Japanese find a way to make everything better. Why in America we don't have the national anthem just randomly paced out in a song?
Especially with a lightweight chassis like this, you just really, really want to have the car in the right RPM range, in the right corner, so you can pull out of it really strong. And I think this car is perfectly suited for Japan's Touge. Well, this is the iconic Spoon S-type bumper, and what makes it really cool is because it actually has an integrated brake duct, get cooling onto your brakes, especially when you're on a circuit.
The next thing that it leads me to is the brakes.
Well, we have these Spoon monocoque calipers over here. They actually take the stock pads, but they're bigger, so they help with heat dispersion.
It's a good thing it's cold out today because that'll help cool the brakes, but it's also bad because of the tires are going to be cold.
I was previously running Avan A050s for the track.
Okay.
They're extremely grippy, but my senpai told me,
Did you say senpai?
yeah, my senpai, my driving senpai. And he told me, you know, run a less grippy tire so you understand how the car handles and less grippy tires. So we're running Nankang NS2s in 255 4017
Yeah.
front and back. So it's a square setup.
Square setup. I love a good square setup.
So these are Super Olins. So Super Olins are a special shop spec here
You
in
say
Japan.
Olins?
Yeah, Super Olins.
Oh, he got money.
No. I'm a Yahoo Auctions hunter.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yahoo Auctions sourced Olin's DFVs, which have been revalved to Super Olin spec, and it's running 14 kg springs.
That's beautiful. It's a lot different because I'm so used to driving BMWs. They have a little bit more of a wet noodle feel to them. Or this is like the plate that the wet noodles sit on.
Like a stiff noodle.
It feels extremely responsive. Your steering doesn't look like you're doing a lot of hand over hand or any cross ups or anything like that. It looks very tight.
Well, maybe it's my driving style. I've been taught by my senpai to not be too fidgety with the wheel and try to make your steering inputs smooth. So I try to anticipate the corner and how much angle I'm gonna need well before I get into the corner so I don't have to keep adding angle.
But like even this corner here, it's pretty tight. You're getting pretty, 12 and 6 o'clock. You're not really going past that movement.
Yep.
And I'm waiting for it to get to the point where the rear end wants to kick out and it doesn't feel like it wants to.
In stock form, it's way more tail happy.
Gotcha.
But with the 255 with tire setup that's squared front and back and about almost 40 degrees of camber, it's really, really stable in the corners.
outside, but I want to lower the window and I just want to hear this thing. The way that you have this car set up feels really good.
My whole concept was I want a car that's fun to drive on the Touge, comfortable on the street, and I can take to the track all on the same day.
This is it. The Honda S2000. Arguably the greatest car for the Touge, huh?
Definitely.
There it is. Oh yeah, there she went.
There we go.
I felt it. She's awake.
Let's
That's
go.
What a dream come true. In Japan, on the Touges, in a beautiful car, beautiful scenery, all this. Not to mention, Gary's been with us the entire time.
It's basically God Hand and God Foot from Initial D, right?
That's exactly what it is.
These guys have better things to do than raise a couple of kids.
Gary, what'd you think of that?
That was amazing. It was
Kept up. I can smell your brakes.
Yeah, I'm just
Heavy car.
It's a whole thing. I don't even know what to say. It's like I'm driving behind you and I'm like, it's cool because it's like this is like different than all my Skylines at home, and it's different than driving behind all my homies at home because it's like we grew up playing games on these roads or games inspired by these roads, and like we're on it now.
Yeah.
It hits super hard.
Well, boys, another thing to mark off the bucket list. It's cold as hell, but that was sick.